Hey everyone, this is Josh from before. I'm here with Omega from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. Last night on Earth Wave, which I picked up at Target. Uh, I had this pre-ordered online and it was originally, well, it's still saying that it's going to ship at the end of this month, which is February, but these are starting to show up in stores. And the rumor is that these got pushed out a little early because they're trying to squeeze in a Zack Snyder Justice League wave, which has not fully been confirmed yet. But that's the rumor, and these are starting to show up, it seems like, for a lot of people in stores. So if you're looking for them, they're out there. You can see that these this is a Build-A-Fig wave. So the boxes are just like a little bit wider than a normal box from the multiverse. And I gotta say, when this figure with this character was announced, and they showed the pics, I got sort of the impression that this might be kind of similar to Murder Machine that came out in the like Devastator metal wave, because it's kind of just like a more simplified sort of design, kind of just a real streamlined sort of human form. And I thought, and I talked about it in another video, that I thought that Murder Machine was kind of the sleeper hit of that wave that had Grim Knight and Devastator and all those. It's a really surprisingly great figure. So that's kind of where my expectations are on this one. But I'll do a side-by-side later on with Murder Machine, but I can already see Omega seems kind of small, which seems like an odd choice, just based on who the identity of that character is, which I won't spoil here if you haven't read the comic. And I think I'm just going to get right into it. I won't spend any more time hee-hawing about the box. Oh, well, I guess actually I will. I take that back, because I'll show you right here on the back, on the side. It's got the logo of Last Night on Earth, which I like it when they put these logos up here, because if you are a box keeper, and I'm not a box keeper, it's just nice to have, because all these boxes are very uniform. They look the same, and 4 out of 5 of them say Batman. So it's nice to just have this little identifier of what's on the spine there. And then this is the back, which has sort of tells you which piece of the Build-A-Fig this comes with. It's got the art, which is also featured on the trading card inside. And it's got a picture of the Build-A-Fig, which is Bane. And if you're hunting this down, there are some numbers that hopefully give you a leg up. So now I'll get into it. Obviously, this is one where they've been doing the technique of giving the figure a little bit of a pose in the box instead of just a neutral kind of stance, which is nice. He comes with 2 fists, and he comes with the legs for Bane. Bane is going to be his own video. I'm going to do that separately, so I'm not going to take these out in this video. You know, just looking at this right now, since they started doing this thing where they pose the characters in the box, it can tend to like sort of force them into a sort of position where, like, you can see like this hand is kind of rubbing up on the hip. It makes me a little nervous about, you know, maybe paint rubbing off or getting bent or anything like that. So if you have the privilege of comparing, if they have multiples, you know, I'm always looking for, you know, is there paint rubbed off? Is it bent in any way? Etc. So here he is. How does he smell? Smells good. Always smells good. Just taking in some first impressions, which what stands out to me is there's a lot of smooth surface area here, which you know, some of these figures, they go very detail and texture heavy. Some of them are very smooth, especially like the earlier waves. This is kind of a mix in between, where it's got this texture on his torso and here in the inside of his arm, on the inside of his arms, while most of the rest of him is very smooth. He's got this nice little cape, which is kind of a unique looking cape compared to a lot of the other characters. It's just shorter, and maybe not quite as it's not blowing in any direction. It's just kind of hanging there static, and it gives him a nice little something extra, like that murder machine is just a simple human form with no cape, whereas this has this to kind of give it a little bit of extra. My feeling is right away is like this head seems awfully small. The figure in general is kind of on the small side, which just seems a little odd, just given that these tend to be full 7-inch kind of bigger, heftier figures. This just is a little bit on the small side. Let's start playing with him. Got a pretty good ability to look up, which a lot of these characters, when they have sculpted hair or details of whatever their head looks like, it can prevent them from being able to look up. This one does not, and can look fairly, maybe not super far down, but he's got a good range in the head. And even despite the small head, it looks pretty good. One thing, and I don't know what the solution would have been, but the way they've got these butterfly joints here, it kind of breaks up that texture here in a way that's a little weird. It's maybe not perfect, but the butterfly really works really well. Look at that. That's great. And it's just ready to go right out of the box. That's always nice. Bicep Cut is really successful and really smooth. Sometimes just the way their shoulder is kind of bigger, and the way this cut works, it can get in the way of itself and not be really smooth or have much range, but this does for sure. And you can see that elbows are already a little bit moved around because of the way it's packaged, but that double elbow is great, really great. Like, look at how close he can get in there. Like, so if he's got to answer the phone, he can do it. Answer the bat phone. That's what I always test. Can he answer the bat phone? The answer is yes. Let's see. The ball joints for the wrists are slightly recessed up into this arm sculpt, which is a nice wow. That hand's a little loose. But it's nice when those ball joints are kind of tucked in as much as they can be while still retaining the functionality. And you can see that the standard hands he comes with are this kind of a tighter accessory hand. Definitely not a gun hand. I don't think you could really fit a gun in there, but it does have the slight separation where the index finger is going out. And I know I talk a lot about the like C grip hands that just drive me crazy. I think they look terrible. This is a nice, I think, sort of meet in the middle, where you could put an accessory in there, but it also just has maybe a little more of a naturalistic kind of a way a normal person would just hold their hand instead of just being like G.I. Joe. So that's where my head is. And this is more of a sort of a gesture hand where he's telling you his evil scheme and how he's going to defeat you, you know. Bad guys, you want them to be, you always want them to like be posed like they're telling you their evil plan. And, you know, hands like this, I love that. See how the crunch works. Obviously, these I swear, these figures, they always have a great bend back. But then when it comes to the crunch, maybe they're not going to get in there. And sometimes you can free up how much play you can get here by moving the legs. Sometimes these legs go up inside of the brief, the diaper piece, and they can impair the way this works. So just play, if you're not getting as much play as you'd like, you could experiment maybe with moving the legs a bit and seeing if it'll give you any more. But wow, really smooth rotation on the ab there, and really smooth on the waist as well, which is nice. Sometimes it's very tight on the waist and the ab, and this also, you can see that sculpt of that texture. The lines break up, but that sculpt stays under there. So when you twist them, it's maybe not quite as an obvious sort of joint separation there. And then let's see, his legs, really, really great clearance up front for a front movement, but his butt is kind of sculpted pretty far down in the back. Although actually, you know, even despite that, he still goes. They go back pretty well. It's pretty good. Really, much like, again, the Murder Machine, a very articulation friendly, posing friendly design. I hit the camera. The Jean-Claude Van Damme side splits is there, and even when you take them and split them like that, you still get the rotation. So everybody complaining about the no thigh cuts, I mean, this one's pretty friendly for some more extreme leg poses, which is always welcome. And when it works this great, I don't think you need the thigh cut. That's just me. That's where I come down on that topic. You know, really, well, maybe not the best double knee. Yeah, he can't quite kick his own butt with the double knee. Which is surprising because there aren't a lot of like extra sculpted details on the legs, and usually that's what kind of blocks that motion. But this is just not, he's not going to kick his own butt. I just don't think it's going to happen. Ankles. The ankles, I gotta say, okay, I mean, this line is got some really, really gnarly ball joints on the ankles a lot of times, and these are tucked in a way that they're not as obvious, but don't quite get in the way either, which is nice. It's a really good, and then, you know, this twist, love that twist when it works right, and this, oh wow, I mean, he can, that's one of the biggest toe bends I've seen, I think, on one of these. So just the design of him, you know, it's a very clean paint application on these lines, and, you know, just the simple, you know, black on a very smooth sculpt with the texture in the middle kind of breaking it up. So as far as just, you know, being an extremely detailed, you know, in the McFarlane style, this one is got, you know, simpler design. and it looks really sharp, and it looks like he just, you know, has a unique sort of look that I think is going to stand out with, you know, with a lot of the other characters from this line and this wave. It could also even play well with the, you know, the upcoming like Batman Beyond, and that sort of like design style. So the 2 extra hands he comes with are just closed fists, left and right fists, which, if you ask me, is nice and very welcome. A lot of these, I do think a lot of these figures kind of skew on the side of not having very many accessories. So any extra hands, any extra heads, any accessories in general, I'm happy to have them, but the extra hands and heads are nice, especially if you're, you know, trying to do maybe certain customs. You know, it's always good to have extra hands available, that you could maybe paint or put on somebody else and not miss them. You still have your original figure mostly untouched. Obviously those go on very easily. It's kind of a little, maybe a little plastic string caught in there. Got it. So let's look at him next to Murder Machine. Well, then now I'm looking at him, maybe he's not quite as short as I thought, because that scales pretty well with Murder Machine there. I guess if I close his legs a little bit, make him a more similar stance, it just barely ekes him out a little bit. The way he was in the box, I mean, it looked like Murder Machine was going to be a full head taller almost. And then actually you can see him with a 6-inch Marvel Legend, and that not a huge difference there either. So I'd say he's on the short side of the scale for the Multiverse line. And I think that's about all there is to it. To Omega, again, a pretty simple sort of design and a lot of smooth textures. So it's not, you know, if you're somebody that just loves like poring over all the details, and seeing those, not a lot to see, but a pretty cool, unique sort of look compared to some of the others in this line. So yeah, if you like this character, or if you're looking just to complete the Build-A-Figure, you're gonna end up with this in your collection, and you could do a lot worse. I like it. I don't know if I love it, but he's pretty cool, and I think I am gonna have some fun playing around with him, and probably put him in sort of a jumping or some sort of action pose. So that is it. I'll have the other characters from this wave reviewed in short order along with this guy, and I'll see you next time, either on those videos or one down the road. Thanks for watching. Bye.